Got my money. Make it rain, bitch. I got nothing. Hold on. Rapers, what's is good? It's your boy Laser. He's always with another scary reaction video. He's on the scary content. So I continue to live in the top 10 cursed treasures that ended lives. Guys, there's so many crazy ass the balloons and all that shit out there. We're not showing you enjoy scary content. You enjoy scary videos features, hit the like button. You subscribe to the notification bell icon. I'll stream everyone on Twitch. Let's check out music support on platforms. This is not straight in this video.
Danny Burke, and this is the top 10
cursed
treasures that ended lives. Starting off at number 10 now, we have King Tut's curse. This is perhaps one of the most famous curses of all time that we're starting off with. In 1922, Egyptologist Howard Carter discovered Tutankhamun's tomb in the Valley of Kings, Egypt. To this day, it remains the only intact and
catacombs.
Complete royal burial of an ancient Egyptian pharaoh found in modern times. An inscription on the wall reads, "Death shall come on swift wings to him who disturbs the peace of the king." They ignored this warning. Carter and his team entered and began to remove the priceless artifacts. 6 weeks later, one of Carter's associates died from a mosquito bite. Soon after, relatives of the team began to die in mysterious circumstances.
Anyone that's gotten bitten by, I think everyone their mother's been bitten by a mosquito. Why am I saying it like people haven't been bitten by a mosquito? But anyone's been bitten by like a mosquito on the back, ooh, the pain.
One famous example involved their secretary being found dead in her bed, which then drove her father to commit suicide. In total, there have been some 11 deaths linked to the so-called King Tut's curse, and some say they will never end unless the tomb's treasure is returned. Moving on to number 9 now, we have the Hope Diamond. This is one of the most famous diamonds in the world, a 45.52 carat piece that has been owned by a number of famous people over the years, going right back to King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, who owned it during the French Revolution and their beheadings after. They weren't the only deaths that legend has linked to the diamond though. They say that a tragedy befalls anyone who owns or wears it. Here are some random owners that
That just looks cursed, bro. That just looks so cursed. I don't know, just looking at this makes me want to fucking choke on my own. Look at mine, bro. And I got these for like $15 and they're better than that. I mean, it looks cool, I can't lie. I wouldn't wear it. I don't know, it looks very cursed. I think a skull is the way to go. Skull is good luck. That is bad luck. I feel like I'm going to get voodoo powers that are going to make me butt naked for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying?
I just plucked out from the long list. Jacques Collet bought it and later committed suicide. Prince Ivan Kantinovsky was the next owner before being killed by Russian revolutionists. The original merchant who brought the diamond from India to Paris was later torn to pieces by wild dogs in Constantinople. This list of gore, misery and death just goes on and on. The last person to privately own the diamond was a woman called Evelyn McLean. She had her daughter die of an overdose and her son died in a car crash. Of course, these could all be just random tragic events. Some even say the stories were fabricated to add to the mystique of the diamond. But either way, the blood diamond now sits behind glass at the Smithsonian Museum. Moving on to number 8 now, we have the Lost Dutchman's Mine. Now according to legend, there is a vast and plentiful gold mine hidden somewhere in southwest USA. If you want me to be more specific, they say it's somewhere in the Superstition Mountains east of Phoenix, Arizona. In the 1840s, the Peralta family of northern Mexico supposedly developed rich gold mines in those mountains. They kept the location very secret though, and when they were supposedly killed by the Apache tribe, the secret of the mine's location died with them. Today, the area is known as the Massacre Grounds. A few decades later, a German man called Jacob Waltz set out to look for the mine. They called him the Dutchman. Now he tracked down one of the descendants.
If I go in that mine, am I gonna get, just give me winning lottery tickets, bro? Give me everything I could ever desire. Condoms that don't rip open.
Of the family to help him find the mine. He and his partner, Jacob Weiser, worked the mine. There was more gold than they could ever imagine. They supposedly hid some caches of gold in the mountains. According to the story, Weiser was killed by the Apache tribe and Waltz died in Phoenix some 20 years later. He supposedly passed the knowledge of the mine's location onto his neighbor who cared for him before he died. Neither she nor other treasure hunters over the years have been successful in finding the mine. Many of them have met mysterious deaths during the search, leading to the legend of the lost Dutchman and the cursed treasure he found. Moving on to number 7 now, we have Cahuenga Pass. In 1964, a shepherd named Diego Moreno told people he had found treasure in the mountains near Los Angeles. Today, the area is...
Los Angeles? Why do you pronounce it like that? It's Los Angeles, bitch, not Los Angeles.
It's called Cahuenga Pass and also Whitley Heights. The treasure was immense, more than $200,000 worth of gold, diamonds and pearls. They had been left there on the trail by
Los Angeles.
4 agents from Mexico. They planned to exchange them for guns to aid a political struggle in Mexico, but before they'd reached their destination, one of the agents suddenly died in a mysterious death. The other agent suspected French spies were trying to bump them off one by one, so they split the treasure up and hid it in the hills. When they found out that the treasure had been stolen, they blamed each other. A fight broke out and 2 of the agents killed each other. Another agent died later while breaking up a bar fight. Meanwhile, the shepherd was in a tavern on his way to LA to sell his new treasure. That night he had a nightmare in which he entered LA with the treasure and died. He decided the next morning to bury it under a large ash tree. The shepherd fell ill though on the rest of his journey.
Ash tree, what? Cigarettes on trees?
His friend cared for him as he died. The
normal,
shepherd's
right?
final words were to tell his friend where the treasure was buried so that he could have it. Soon after though, his friend had violent convulsions and he also died. He was buried by his son and his friend. They did manage to locate the treasure, but as you can probably guess by now, one of them had convulsions and died when they were digging. The other then just ran for his life. They say the treasure still remains there to this day, buried under an ash tree along the Cahuenga Pass. Moving on to number 6 now, we have the cursed dollars. In 2011, a 49-year-old man from Illinois found a bag containing $150,000 in his garden while he was picking broccoli. He told police and turned the bag over to them on the understanding that if the money was not claimed by anyone else by the end of 2012, it would be his. Eventually, his
cursed dollars? I got my money. Make it rain, bitch. I got nothing. Hold on. Dude, I actually tasted it.
87-year-old neighbor staked a claim. Before she died in January 2013, the woman, who suffered from dementia, told the court that she had gotten rid of the money because it was cursed. The court decided to give the bulk of the money to the woman's daughter and give the man a small finder's fee. However, just 10 days before he was set to collect his money, he died suddenly from diabetic problems after waiting 2 years for his share. Curse or tragic timing. At the number 5 spot now we have the Money Pit. In 1795, 3 teenage boys stumbled across a man-made hole on Oak Island, just off the coast of Nova Scotia. Theories about who dug the hole range from Spanish sailors from a wrecked galleon to British troops fighting during the American Revolution. Whoever made it, legend says the hole has ancient treasure inside for anyone with the skills to retrieve it. So far, they have found wooden barriers, a strange layer of coconut husks, and a mysterious code written on a stone. It was deciphered and found to read 40 feet below, £2 million are buried.
Those coins look like those fucking chocolate coins, bro. I used to have those like all the time on Hanukkah. We spin the dreidel and then we have these chocolate coins. They taste like dark chocolate.
It's because of this that treasure hunters from all over the world have flocked to the island, hoping to be the ones to cash in, and many of them have met strange deaths. In 1861, a water pump exploded, killing a worker. In 1897, a man died in a pulley accident. In 1951, a team used a clamshell digger that fell off a barge and sunk. Most famously, in 1965, adventurer Robert Restall, his son and 2 of their co-workers died after inhaling poisonous gas while trapped in the hole. The Money Pit has claimed a number of victims over the years, and nobody is any closer to finding the treasure. Moving on to number 4 now, we have the Koh-i-Noor diamond. Just like the blood diamond we talked about earlier, this is a very expensive, very famous diamond that has been blamed for a number of deaths over the years. They say there's records of this diamond going back 5,000 years in the Middle East. The curse was first made.
Why do rappers be putting this shit on their heads? Uzi. I mean, I think he removed it like a while ago, but still. I don't know. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
mentioned in 1306 though. The 105-carat diamond came with a Hindu text that read, "He who owns this diamond will own the world, but will also know all its misfortunes. Only God or a woman can wear it with impunity." So there you go. For any of you females watching, the curse won't affect you. Also, that's true if God is watching this video. It won't affect
God, if you're watching this video with me, well, God, can you give me some new videos to react to? We're running out of videos. Like, that's serious. That's a very fancy crown. It's got Thanos' cum inside of it. Dude, crowns are so nasty. Do people actually wear crowns?
you either. It was stolen by the British in the 1800s. Queen Victoria had it cut up into small diamonds, some of which can be seen in the coronation crown of the Queen Mother. Is this a nod to the fact that a male can never wear the diamond? Perhaps. Do we have any volunteers watching to test out the theory? Next up at number 3 now, we have Charles Island. This island is located off the coast of Milford in Connecticut. They say that the whole island has been cursed not once, not twice, but 3 times in history. Thrice. According to legend, the first curse came in 1639 when the 𝐭𝐲𝐬 tribe chief traded it to the European settlers, but not before cursing it over their kidnapping of his daughter.
You possessed all of a sudden, boy? Look at those possessed ass eyes.
Years later, Scottish pirate Captain William Kidd was lured to the island in a trap that led to his trial and execution. He apparently cursed the island that led to his downfall. Fast forward to 1721 and a group of Connecticut sailors stumbled across some treasure in Mexico that belonged to an Aztec emperor called 𝐒𝐚𝐽𝐽. The sailors brought it back home to Connecticut, but soon after, disaster befell them that led to the death of 4 out of 5 of their group. The last man panicked, believing the treasure to be cursed, and buried it on Charles Island. In the years since, many treasure hunters have tried and failed to retrieve the cursed treasure, and locals blame the cursed island for the lack of any humans settling there in all this time. Next up at number 2 now, we have the curse of the Amber Room. Have you ever heard of the 8th wonder of the world? That's what people used to call this room. It was a gift to Peter the Great in 1716, celebrating peace between Russia and Prussia. It was covered floor to ceiling in gold and jewels. The walls were made of pure amber. Fast forward to World War II, and the Nazis managed to take control of the building and the room. Then they took the room. No, really. They took it. They took it apart and carried it bit by bit back to Germany. After the war was over, nobody knew where it was exactly. Some say it was buried in the mountains, others say the Nazis stole a fake one and that the Russians still have the real one. Either way, there is apparently a curse attached to the whole thing, supposedly. The curator of the room while the KGB investigated the case died of typhoid. An investigator was killed in a car crash after talking about it. A famous Amber Room hunter was mysteriously murdered in a forest. I'm beginning to think that this room doesn't want to be found. And finally at number 1 now, we have Qin Shi Huang's tomb. Qin Shi Huang is known...
Tombs? Oh, what the fuck? Tombs? Tombstones, the cursed mummies. Tombstones and cursed mummies, name a better duo.
As China's first emperor. When he died in 210 BC, his tomb was filled with everything that his people felt was appropriate for a man of his standing. This included hundreds of slaves, concubines, gold and jewels, as well as thousands of terracotta.
This looks like a location straight out of Fortnite, bro. It looks like that one like floating area that, you remember that time period where there was like a floating fucking, I don't know. There was like the floating islands, like the UFOs and all that shit. Like, you would go through that portal or whatever, and then you would go to, you know what I'm talking about, the floating, never mind. You have to collect, like, these orbs or whatever in, like, a certain time limit. I don't fucking remember. That's what it looks like.
Soldier statues. They make up what is now known as the Terracotta Army. As you can see from these pictures, the area is huge, and a lot of it has actually been excavated, except for one area. To this day, the mausoleum which actually holds the emperor's body is off limits to all. Well, the official line is that the site is surrounded by a thick river of mercury, which could easily kill excavators who are not too careful. Others say that this is just a cover story, and that the tomb and its final treasures are protected by an ancient curse. There are writings that talk about a number of...
Let me do that face like this, motherfucker. Fuck, I can't do it.
booby traps to protect the area.
Me, when she wants to shell out my face, come here.
Are the scientists put off by the thought of this too? Either way, of all the treasures we've looked at so far, Qin Shi Huang's might actually remain untouched. Alright guys, what did you make of that?
Dude, I've been delusional for so long, man. That shit, like, is that shit even healthy at this point? I know, like, when you're pursuing your destiny, you gotta be delusional. Because, like, once at the world sees it, there's nothing delusional about it. But it's like, damn, it's starting to feel so unhealthy. But I'm just gonna keep doing it until at some point, you know?
I know some of you don't believe in curses. I'd have...
Well, guys, if this video, I hope you enjoyed it. Which one of those cursed treasures was the most interesting to you? Enjoy scary content. You want to scare these features to do? I'll see you next one. Peace.